Welcome everyone. Good to be back in the office. Last week was very busy when it comes to Maté talk. The level of focus that was needed was extreme because, you know, I just want to chill and just relax. Everybody else is watching movies and sitting on the couch, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to do the next bit of filming. But anyway, sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I'm just saying. I've been testing. Firstly, stop, hang on a second. Welcome to Maté Talk. I hope you have an awesome drink. Mine is my Maté, of course. Let me just have a little drink. And it's a beautiful, miserable day here in Melbourne. Yeah, it's been like, not raining, but it's miserable. But it's nice. It's perfect for the fragrances that I'm gonna share with you today. I'm covered in perfume as always. And I smell just like, I smell amazing. I smell glorious. I've been enjoying all the comments that have been coming through on all the episodes and everything else. But let me get started and then we can chat a bit more. All right, so I've been testing. And it's in line with the upcoming live. I'll tell you more about that. It's the new Extraits that are coming out from 8 and Bob. And I'm testing the other one that's kind of warm and actually this is divine. Let me just, I'll save you the suspense. The fragrance is called Agneta, and it is gorgeous. I mean, like, and I've wrote here in capital letters, exclamation marks, gorgeous. And I've been wearing this. Can you see how I've hammered this? You can't probably see, but this was a very decent decant that I received. I mean, I've got drops left in here. I was wearing it again today, but because I'm covered in perfume. So I put it up here. It's just, if you love, okay, so the easiest way to do it, if you love Starlight and if you love Gris Chanel, those two had a baby and they made this one here. So it has a lot of those components that you love in both of those fragrances, whether it be the cardamom that's in that opening for Starlight, actually, and in Gris Chanel. So it has that cardamom, but there is a creaminess in the opening. Now, interestingly, there is no, I get this caramel, burnt sugar on the opening, super, like, to the point I want to lick my own arm. It's just super enticing and very inviting. Like I said, in this cooler weather, it's just been just glorious to wear. I wore it the other day, and all day long, I'm just like creating the yummy sounds on me. Then as it moves around, believe it or not, there is oud in here, and it's not that stinky sort of barnyard oud that you know. I think the oud here gives it a slight animalic sort of touch to it. It does give it a lot more woodier base. I know that there is cedarwood and also sandalwood. All of those different woods in there gives it this beautiful woody base. So if you like a really creamy, woody fragrance, warm, gorgeous on a, like I said, like a day to day, gorgeous, wow, 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 is my my verdict on this baby. New fragrance or a new line from the Extraits, which is the new 8 and Bobs that are coming out. And again, I will come back to that, but big recommendation on Agneta. Bada bing. All right, let me go into announcements. Actually, this leads me into this is why I've been testing the new 8 and Bobs. So on the 3rd of June, we are doing a live. For those who may have missed the Creswick Maté talk that I did last week, here's the thumbnail, check it out. It was a lot of fun. If you like kangaroos, if you want to see, actually, stop the clock. So let me just talk about this. But I'll start the announcement clock in a second. I've had a few comments, primarily from my family, going, I love what you did with that pie. So I was trying to be like an Anthony Bourdain, you know, like this meat pie, What makes a beautiful Aussie meat pie is the balance between the gravy. Okay, so what happened was I was so hungry and I knew that this pie was gonna be good. I've gone to this bakery in the past, I'm very familiar with it. They've won awards, so this particular bakery has won awards for its meat pies. So I wanted to be Mr. Conversational and talking about the food. I took that first bite and I'm like, turn the camera off because I don't care no more. I just want to eat this pie. it was, and the other thing too is, and I put that in the episode, that so part of a good meat pie, apart from the flavor and everything else, is that the filling isn't too hot, because when you're hungry, you just want to eat it. And so it's about the balance between it being hot enough that it's a warm pie, but cold enough, or sort of not too hot where you're burning your tongue when you're burning your mouth. So I took that first bite, and all my senses in my brain just went off. My stomach said, give me more. Taste buds were like dancing, and that was it. I couldn't even focus anymore. So what makes a good meat pie? Thickish crust so that the thing doesn't fall apart. The balance between the gravy and the meat has to be really good, depending on the pie that you've got. In my case, it was an onion pie, so you want a hint of that onion, but not to overpower it. The gravy is the important part. The gravy needs to have its own flavor and its own, not necessarily texture, but definitely its own nuance, essentially, you see. The meat has to be really good quality meat too, because you don't want any grizzle. Sometimes you bite a meat pie and there's a little bit of grizzle in, you're like, hang on a second. So you want some cuts of meat in there, so like a chunk sort of thing. So all these components are important. I can say this now because I'm relaxed. So the balance between the pastry, they actually make that bakery makes its own pastry, so the pastry was just gorgeous. A little bit on the buttery side. Some places like to make theirs flaky. I don't like it like that. I like more the buttery crust, or that short crust. That was from this place. But you have to be careful, because if it's too short crusty, it begins to fall apart, or if it's too thick, then you're eating a lot of pastry as opposed to, so the balance has to be all there between pastry, the meat, the gravy, and then the actual flavor or whatever you've got. Boom, that makes a perfect Aussie meat pie. I can talk about it now. All right, so start the clock, here we go. Back to announcements. 3rd of June, we are doing a live in that area. So we will be back in that region, which is called Daylesford. We call it the Gold Fields because when there was the gold rush back in this time, that whole area became super populated, became super rich also. A lot of gold was found in that area. And they also discovered natural mineral springs. And so it's a big spa town. This Daylesford is known for its boutiques and known for its very bougie sort of country life. So a lot of beautiful restaurants in that area, a lot of beautiful hotels and things of that nature, and of course the spas. There's beautiful spa retreats. We're going to be filming from the Harry and Me, so this particular venue, and the boutique is gorgeous. So for Aussies, if you haven't been out, when you do go out to Daylesford, make sure you check out this particular retail outlet. I will be filming alongside the owner of the business. Her name is Natalie. And so we're going to be talking about perfumes. In particular, the primary focus will be the 8 and Bob collection. So apart from the classic 8 and Bobs, then the I guess the more female leaning, the unique version, unique collection. And then finally, the discussion and release of Extraits with Agneta. I mean, for me, it's gonna be front and center because that thing is gorgeous. So make sure you join us. These are the times across the world, 8 a.m. here in Australia, but that's the rest of it. So there's gonna be giveaways. We've got full bottles. I think even Agneta might be one of those full bottle giveaways. So Aussies, you'll have a chance to win. And I've also made sure that our international friends, so if you're gonna be watching from overseas, then you too will have a chance to win the gift sets and things of that nature. So 3rd of June, look forward to seeing everybody and coming on board for that. All right, Other announcement is the 8th of June. This is only for locals, for Melbourneites, or if you want to fly in to come into Melbourne. On the 8th of June, we're going to be doing a Maté meetup at Oligarch. The time is this. Now, if you would like to taste mate, I'm going to bring some yerba mate, and the only thing that you will need to buy is a bombilla. So you can't bring a normal straw. Otherwise you'll be drinking the actual leaves themselves. So I will buy you a straw if you're going to be there. I will buy you the straw. It is $5. I've done some research, local company. It's not super bougie, but it'll be functional enough. All you got to do is then bring a cup. I'll bring the yerba mate, so don't worry about that. And then we'll get the water from Oligarch. If you are planning to be there, then DM me. So Michael, I've already got your DM, thank you, sir. I'll send you so what I'll do, I'll just send you my banking details so you can put that $5 into my bank account. Make it 50, just round it up to 50. You can put the money in, and then I'll go ahead and buy that. Now, I need to have this by worst case Friday, all right? So those who are going to be at the Maté meetup, I need to, if you can tell me that you'd like me to buy your bombilla Friday, and then we can get that done. All right, let me move on. All right, last thing. Next week, we're going to be doing the raffle. So it's for those who, let me explain about membership, okay? So you want to become a member. And the reason why is that there's a lot of really awesome benefits that you can get as to become a member of the channel. It's $4 a month, or $4 Aussie a month. It's like $2.90 or something like that in Europe, in Euro or the US. The advantage that you have is, one, we do the spinning of the wheel. So you'll have the chance to let me send you something. If your name comes up, and now we've got over 60 members, which is awesome. So I will spin twice. If your name comes up, then you tell me the fragrances that you love. I'll curate a sample of different fragrances, and I'll send that across to you anywhere in the world, okay? That's one of the reasons why you want to become a member. The second one is that you can be spotlighted, what we do every month. Not this month, obviously, because we're going to be at the Harry and me, 8 and Bob, but next month, you can be spotlighted. We can talk about your collection. We've done this in the past with other members where they've talked about whether their fragrance collection or new things that they have found. So by being a member, you can be spotlighted on a live if you choose to be. And then the last thing, 1st of June, we will be releasing Discord. So Discord will also be available to all the members of the channel. We're actually building that in the background. So I've got my incredible editors who are, see, I'm a rookie when it comes to Discord. So my incredible editors are putting all this work behind the scenes in creating a NFC server or Discord server for us. And they're putting all these other components. One of the things that they always say to me, those who watch the Rose lineup video or the Oud lineup video, they're purposely super polished. You know, the dialogue is super clean. I want to have a very clear message, and there's a story arc that's in there. But if you saw that in real time, you'll see that it doesn't actually play out like that. So I have my notes, and I don't write a script. I just write bullet point notes and then allow the moment to take me through. And sometimes I forget things. And so what I do to think, I dance. So if you're part of the Discord, the girls are always saying you should really release your dancing, my dancing that I do as I try to think, and the sound effects that I create. I've always hesitated because I don't want to put that on the channel, on the YouTube channel, but that will be the extra content that we'll have on the Discord. So if you want to see, and it's also about building a community, so that the whole Discord is about building a community and continuing to engage in a much more personal way, and in a much more direct way too. So there's other things. There's other things that are already in play when it comes to all things Discord. So I'm pretty excited to actually launch that. And again, I thank my generals, my 5-star generals on the channel, Ricardo and Fred. Finally, your suggestion is finally coming to life. So the plan is to come at it in a big way rather than sort of poke at it with a stick. I really want to already be in a good place. All right. So they're the reasons. Become a member, you'll have access to all these things. In particular, next week, I will be doing the raffle, so you want to be a part of that. Boom, boom, boom. All right, last one, community. Can I have a little drink? I know, keep the clock going, I don't mind, but I just need a little drink. Mind you, I'm the boss. Stop the clock. Oh, goodness me. Give me a second, let me just catch up a bit. All right, back on. Last thing is, how cool is the community? For those people who have discovered the community tab on the YouTube page, on the NFC YouTube page, you'll see that we have gone from 0 to 10,000. We have amped up a lot of communication, a lot of messaging, a lot of engagement, polls. So we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to show this off. Now, We did this on purpose, so we flooded you guys with a lot of stuff, a lot of content, a lot of messaging throughout that community tab. And then we've asked you the question. Now, we've only had 376 votes, and so far, the verdict is that you guys would only like to see 3 posts a week in that community tab, all right? So I know some people thought that I was referencing videos, and I love the comments that were coming through in regards to that. Resounding messaging was quality over quantity, and I totally agree with that. I mean, and you know me in the sense that I'm not going to release something that I'm not 100% satisfied with, so quality will always be the thing. So the messaging was quality over quantity, which is great. But in regards to the community component, what would you like to see? Would you like to see, because we were posting 1 a day basically, and different forms of engagement, like what do you prefer? Like the recent one is, what do you prefer between Aventus and Green Irish Tweed? So this kind of engagement, do you like? Or is it too much? Am I spamming you guys? As I said, we purposely did it this way to spam everybody and then gauge, take a temperature and see, is this what you guys want? Or let's back it up a bit and let's just do three times a week. The whole purpose behind that community is really just to engage and also to understand. This gives me a chance to quickly get into everybody's headspace, I guess, and to understand where you guys are at versus doing the videos, which sometimes can be they are very thematic, whether it's rose or a particular fragrance, etc. The community allows us a much deeper, quicker engagement. So you tell me, so far the vote is 3 times a week. All right, so we'll bring it back to 3 times a week, but I'm going to wait till the end of this week. So if you want to vote, if you haven't had a chance to vote just yet, because we've only had 376 votes, we'll take the final count by the end of the week. You tell us what you'd like to do when it comes to the community tab. Now, when it comes to releasing videos, it's the community tab only, and boom, announcements are done. All right, small drink again, excuse me. Okay. So, had really awesome response when it comes to the rose episode. It actually, so just to give you an idea, in the community tab, I asked, of all these notes, which one should we do a lineup on? The first one that won was Oud, so that was the first video that was released. The second one in second place was Rose. So just to give you an idea, that community tab I'm actually using as a way to gauge, to see what are you guys interested in rather than me doing stuff, This way I'm engaging with you guys for information that you'd like to see. On one of the comments that came through on that Rose video, firstly the Rose video did fantastic, a lot of great comments, a lot of positive feedback, which was awesome. And in particular, a real love for the rose note in perfumery. Obviously, if we talk about florals in fragrance, our modern day perception is that it's made for a woman. And I go back, and what I mentioned in that video is that it was primarily from the 60s onwards. So when advertising really started to take its shape, properly, in a very formal way, advertising. It started to be, separate the two to create 2 categories. So these were made for women and these were made for men. And so the women had a lot of florals, in particular rose, blah, blah, blah. And for men, it was aromatics and dry woods and, masculine, strong fragrances. But the truth is, if you go back in time, a lot of florals were actually in men's fragrances. So this perception that, florals are only for women, that's brainwashing. Just give you a heads up. Nobody wants to be brainwashed. But that's marketing. So marketing have done an awesome job in convincing us that that's the case. So what I want to do today, and one of the comments that came through, this one here, is, and I agree with this comment, and that is that at the end of the day, if it's heightened in florals, then it does, personally, it does work really well on a woman. These beautiful floral notes and soft, aldehydic sort of works beautiful on Sandra, my wife. And if you smell that in the air, it does almost and I guess I'm contradicting in a way and I think just beautiful florals, a soft floral, very heightened in that floral note does work really well on a woman. So I don't wear that, okay? But I love wearing florals that have a bit more of an edge to them. And in particular, that comment there was something that's not too feminine, so it doesn't sort of push too heavily into just floral. So what I have today is just that. So women, those who are watching, every one of these will work perfectly because they are essentially floral scented fragrances. But boys, these work amazing because all of these are mine. I bought them for me, basically. Sandra wears them, and other women that are connected to, whether it's my editors or whether my family. So other people wear these also. But the advantage now is that there are other notes in there that doesn't make it all florals and it just, super feminine when it comes to just that heightened floral component. I did a terrible job in explaining that, but you know what I mean, right? I'm gonna have another drink. I can see some eye rollings going on, like, oh my gosh, this guy. All right, hang on. I love rose. So on that rose video, I had to push back some rose fragrances. And so I want to include two more that I had to push back, or that I pushed back, because these are gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, first one is an Aussie house, a little bit hard for internationals, but if you can, I think they are looking at mailing overseas. But Aussies, there's no excuse. So based in Fitzroy, the brand is called FLANER. New house, I think they're about a year old or so. This one here, and I have spoken about this before, so this should be no surprise, Under the Rose. Gorgeous rose fragrance that isn't overtly rose. So it's not like super floral. There are other things that are happening in there. If I define it quickly, I'm gonna say it's a spicy rose. It does have pink pepper in the opening, but I feel like for me, the key heroes here is the patchouli. There's leather, yes, patchouli leather, and there are green elemi. So there's green notes and then elemi in that opening. Creates this beautiful spicy rose when it first opens up, super alluring. The rose, I actually wrote the rose is perky, meaning that it's like, it's attentive, it's alive, it's present there, but it's not overpowering. It doesn't sort of, all of a sudden, it doesn't become just a rose fragrance or a rose note. Gorgeous fragrance. I'm deep in the dry down now. So I'm getting that touch of that rose, but along with the leathery, patchouli, earthy components of it. As a rose fragrance that a man can wear, sensational. For me, this one here is a beautiful summer rose. So for those who are overseas, if they do deliver overseas, I'd recommend FLANER to you guys, Under the Rose, as a beautiful rose that can work gorgeous on a woman, but exceptional on a man. All right, next one. Did I say enough there? Beep, bop, boop. I did, yes. Okay. The next one is, do you notice that every week, just about, only because, so Aussies, if you may have seen, Libertine have they've got these guys on 50% off. Like what? So yeah, I've just like amped up my collection like crazy. I'm just like, and they've got a few left. So if you want to check that out. Actually, one thing I forgot. Announcements. We won't start the clock, but announcements. For those who saw the obvious video that went out, there is a promo at the moment with Libertine Perfumery. If you use the code NFC Obvious, you have a chance to win not only, first 10 people will win a Obvious gift set of 10 of the fragrances that are in their collection. And then one lucky person will win a full bottle of une pistache. So have a look at, so if you haven't had a chance to watch that video, here it is here. For Aussies, jump on. It's an awesome promo. It gives you a chance, and you can buy anything. So you can order anything off the Libertine online store. You could even buy yourself a 50% off FUGUIA fragrance and go into the draw to win the gift set. So 10 of these to be won, and then the free bottle. Boom, I'll come back to this. So this one is called La Tierra del Rayo. Now that La Tierra del Rayo is the winemaking region of Argentina. And this is a boozy rose. So for those who like, but not boozy in the sense of rum or whiskey or anything like that, but wine. And think of a wine barrel, so an oak barrel that's been, you know, seeping, or the wine's been seeping inside it, and now you've put some rose in there. It's gorgeous. The balance between the woodiness, the jamminess of that wine grape component, and then the rose, all of those mixed together. This is stunning as a winter fragrance. So for Aussies, unfortunately, Aussies, by the way, Tierra del Rayo is not available on the Libertine website, so it's not one you can buy at 50% off. But if you do get across La Tierra del Rayo as a fragrance for a cooler month, for evening, spectacular. Again, it is a rose, but done in a super unique way. I mean, I've got a number, as you've seen, I've got a number of roses, but this one here now has this, as I said, this jammy woodiness, and it's about celebrating that wine region within Argentina. Beautiful rose fragrance for anybody to wear, masculine or feminine. Give me one sec. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? My clock is about to pop. My camera's about to stop. So I'm going to stop it and then I'll come back. All right, we're back. All right, so that's rose for you. Let's move across to tuberose. Now, tuberose can be, in my opinion, a little bit feminine. And the reason being is that my wife, Sandra, has always been a tuberose lover. So she has a massive collection of different tuberose fragrances. So when I smell the classic tuberose, heady, indolic, sensual note, I just think super feminine. So it took me a while to get into tuberose fragrances for a man, for me. These two here, so for men who want to start exploring the tuberose note within their collection, these two here, exceptional. Women, it's easy because that tuberose note is definitely present. And you'll enjoy, and actually I'll go one more. So those women who don't like my daughter does not like tuberose, these are two fragrances that can be perfect for that individual. Right? So if you're not too comfortable with tuberose as a woman, these are two fragrances that have a beautiful balance. Tuberose is present, but not overpowering in the fragrance. So let me begin with DECAS. Yep. As I've been moving my hands around, I'm like, I'm smelling one of these, and I think it's DECAS, and it is. So. Huge fan of this fragrance here. I feel like, so it's part of the 1861 collection. You have the three that were first released. DECAS celebrates the 10-year celebration of the collection of 1861. And actually, have a look at the video that I created. For me, I said that this is in celebration of Italy as a whole. The reality is that when I smell this, it takes me to Milan. So when I went to Extraits last year, I think it was, or year before, this was my fragrance that I took with me, and I wore this just about every day in Milan. It was gloriously in summer. So for the Northern Hemisphere, you guys are going into your summer, DECAS is extraordinary as a summer fragrance. The balance between the beautiful bright citrus mandarin note mixed in with that tuberose on its opening. It lingers all the way through, so that mandarin note never really leaves, and that tuberose is then supported, so it doesn't get too floral. It's then supported with things like the incense, and they had another thing in there, beep, bop, boop. I wrote it down, excuse me, sorry. Bop, beep, boom. Notes. Oh yeah, the iris and the leather note. So it has this beautiful incense in the base. So I think it's the popanax and myrrh and things of that nature. But it also has the orris butter, and it has a slight leather touch to it too. Now so this gives it a chance for, so it doesn't get too indolic and too heady and too overtly feminine floral. It does sort of bring it back down a bit, but the tuberose note is distinct and is present, all right? So if you want to, I guess, explore and venture into tuberose as a man or even as a woman, then DECAS is extraordinary, spectacular, long lasting. Even in high heat, it won't sweat off. It actually stays with you and it just radiates. It's just, it's one that I'm thinking about Sandra, because the other thing too, because Sandra loves tuberose, I mean, for me to be wearing her tuberose fragrances, I think it'd be a bit like unusual. Whereas she enjoyed, when I was wearing this in Milan, she was enjoying this fragrance, was detecting that tuberose note, but with all this supporting acts around. Decas, boom, extraordinary. What did I write else? Did I write? No, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I said sunshine and joyful. 100%. This, the moment I smell this, and this is what I was saying when I was waving my hand around, I'm smelling Decas, and it's a happy fragrance. It's a fragrance that brings sunshine and joy into your life. If you want a darker tuberose now, who better than MEO FUSCIUNI to bring in a little bit of gothic darkness into your life in a poetic kind of way. This one here is Odor 93. This was my first tuberose. So this is where I first started, because the tuberose is not necessarily hidden or sort of buried, but it definitely is not as pronounced and present as it is here within Decas. You find that the tuberose here has a medicinal, earthy-like quality to it. There are other notes in particular in the base, which are tobacco and patchouli and vetiver, and so the classic. These are classic MEO FUSCIUNI notes. You know, he loves working, well, his earlier pieces, he loved working with those really heavy sort of scents that bring in the darkness, essentially. So yes, tuberose can be a bright sort of white floral note, but yet he surrounds it with all these other notes that just creates a different balance, essentially. Excuse me. It's so where some of these fragrances can be meditative, this one here I find has a bit more, it has a bit more, not aggression, but a bit more energy to it. If I'm not mistaken, actually I'm not even going to say it just in case, but I think it was in reference to a band that he loved. So Odor 93 is in reference to a band member, a particular style of music that he enjoyed, and he wanted to do this as a tribute to them. I'll put it here if I'm actually saying this correctly or not. The tuberose is present, but it, as I said, it is being surrounded now by these more medicinal, green, earthy notes, things like clove and cumin, especially on the opening. And as I said, in that base, it does have the patchouli, the tobacco, and those vetiver notes. I also wrote here, dark, yes. Okay. So the florals of it are more in the distant, as opposed to being more present as it is here when it comes to Decas. Decas, joyful, happy, whereas here there is, as I said, the tuberose is drawn back, and it's now being supported with these more heavier notes. Actually, I'm going to move on. You get the gist of what I'm saying. Odor 93, if you want to delve into the tuberose note, a little bit more on the masculine side, definitely on the more darker side of things, perfect for cooler weather, lasts forever. Not that you won't be able to, sort of wash it off, but if you leave it on skin 12 plus hours, this baby has its own energy and its own, it lingers. It's a glorious fragrance. I don't know if I did a good job in explaining that, but there it is. All right, one last drink. We're moving on to the last part of our fragrance lineup. Here we go, last one. I love YLANG. I've discovered that I'm a big YLANG lover, and I first fell in love with the PERRIS Monte Carlo, but I'll come to that as the second one. The first one that I want to talk about is TORINO 23. Now, interestingly, TORINO 23 has a variety of notes. In particular, on opening, it has things like, what did I write? Because I remember it said like mint and cardamom, or, no, that's YLANG. Anyway, on opening, oh, that's right, cardamom, nutmeg, bergamot. I don't get any of that. Maybe a slight bit of spiciness on that opening. What I get coming straight out of the gate is this indolic, almost heady, overripe, very rich white floral. And I've discovered that it's a collection of jasmine, ylang-ylang, jasmine, tuberose, and ylang-ylang. There is neroli in there. There is a slight bitter white floral in there, but those four florals just come busting out of the gate. When it dries down, it comes back, but on opening, super indolic. It's just like, it's heady. It's almost like you've fallen into like a basket of white florals, just super indolic. As it begins to dry off and come back, then you begin to start picking up that that yellow floral of the ylang-ylang. For me, this is a great, so if you're new to ylang-ylang, you want to introduce yourself, but you want to not go too deep into it, I find that Torino 23 for a man is fantastic. This is an easy reach for a woman. So last week, went away, we went to, as I mentioned, to Creswick. This was one of the fragrances that I brought on the lineup. Now, the women were all reaching for this. Even my 3-year-old granddaughter was wearing Torino 23. She stepped out of the house, everybody was like, oh my gosh, you smell gorgeous. And she loved the attention she was getting. But on a woman, it's easy. So Torino 23 works fantastic. If you like white florals, if you like the more indolic side of things, just gorgeous. But on a man, it is magnificent. My son was wearing this. I love wearing this. Just a really, really gorgeous fragrance. It lasts forever, great projection, awesome longevity. And as I said, it is very white floral on that opening. It does come back, and then you begin to pick up the more ylang-ylang, the more warmer notes. Things like amber and musk are in the base, so it begins to sort of come off that white floral headiness. Gorgeous recommendation. And now the last one that I would recommend to you. This is one I fell in love. So if you want to know now, what does ylang-ylang actually smell like? What is its profile? And it's interesting, you smell this and you smell this side by side, and you'll find that ylang-ylang, when it dries down, does begin to emerge in Torino 23 with the white florals coming back. I did spray ylang-ylang Nosy Bee here. It's just stunning. A man can wear this. A lot of people have said that this is far too sensual, which is true. Far too, what else did I write? Oh, the seduction level on this is high, absolutely true. But a man can still wear this. I mean, this is a beautiful winter fragrance that I would recommend. Torino 23 would be perfect for a summer fragrance. Nice bright weather would be gorgeous. Whereas with Nosy Bee, I find that it has this cacao-rich chocolate note. There's no cacao in it, and it's supposedly the actual ylang-ylang from the Nosy Bee area. It has a really deep floral chocolate sort of richness to it. I'm also detecting like a patchouli, but again, no patchouli. It's I do know that the ylang-ylang and patchouli are grown in the same region. So the patchouli from Nosy Bee is grown in the shade of the ylang-ylang, and somehow, this is what the people from PERRIS Monte Carlo, it's like they transfer some kind of essence to each other through the soil, of course, through the soil, not through the air. I'm just looking at my nose. Anyway, ylang-ylang. This one here, a man can comfortably wear it, gorgeous on a woman. Interestingly, there is the ylang-ylang extrait. This is one that I cannot wear. So this is now deep and sensual and extremely feminine. I've tried to wear this. This now has a magnolia on that opening, and this is now feminine on overdrive. So it's interesting. So the eau de parfum is easier for a man to wear, easy for a woman to wear. The extrait, no way. I don't, no way that this man can wear the YLANG Nosy Bee extrait, whereas I can comfortably wear the EDP without any problems at all. I think I started strong, ended badly. I think it was just getting like, I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. I appreciate your comments. Always enjoy reading the comments. I try to respond as much as I can. It has been a lot slower, and I do apologize. It's been, so for those who've noticed, I'm doing 2 episodes a week, including Maté Talk, and it just takes a lot of energy when it comes to the creation, the development, the filming, the editing, all that process has really sort of amped up. But I am on a mission to get married. I want to get married to the 100,000. It's not going as fast as I wanted it to, but that's okay. It's okay. It's a road. The mission was to hit it this month. Maybe a miracle will happen in the end. I don't think it will happen that I'll hit it, but it's okay because it's good that all this energy and all this stuff that's happening is actually very positive. So yeah, it's good. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you guys all on the next one.